Hello again, welcome back to Asgard, and welcome back to Divine Journey. I hope you guys had a wonderful weekend. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I actually spent the majority of the weekend working on this pack and our build and everything. I spent a lot of time on it. You'll notice all the chests are gone. I moved them. They're in a new building. We'll take a look at that shortly. And everything is in full swing right now. We're making dark steel. I'm actually going to have to get more yellorium. And I just finished running through some ores. I have some ores in here that I'm leaving in here for right now, because before long I want to set up like automatic ore processing and have everything sent to the ore processing system and filtering systems and all of that stuff. I want to get that stuff kind of in swing. But anyways, I've been making a ton of dark steel and using a ton of dark steel. If we take a look in here, you'll see I have a reactor access port, some yellorium fuel rods. That's actually the last of the main components that we're going to need. If we pop up here, this is what I've been spending it on. I've been working on actually our 5x5x5 reactor, or 7x7x7 if you count, exterior wise. I tend to do interior, so 5x5x5 in my measurements. So anyways, I think I'm just going to go with 4 yellorium fuel rods. There's going to be one more up there. I'm waiting until we pull apart our current reactor to move that over. So that's one thing that we're going to be doing today, as well as working on hopefully moving into our Cobbleworks and working on some sorting stuff. Now, if we come through here, I will say that probably my hardest resource since last episode has been wood. So much wood that I needed. And I've been gathering it a few different ways and whatnot. I actually removed the gates here because we don't really have mob spawning, so it's not really a concern. I don't really need the gates there. They were just kind of there early on until I got everything lit up and everything, so that I could come in here and harvest berries and not have mobs attacking me. But look, we have a big building. It's not done, but we have a big building there, and we have this. I'm hoping to get to this either this episode or next episode. Probably this episode, next episode. We're going to be working on a lot of automation, infrastructure type stuff regarding power production, wood production, sorting, Cobbleworks, all that stuff. Because wood is something that I'm going to need. I have went through so much wood since last episode, and I'm nowhere near done with what I need to do. But anyways, I did start putting in statues, and I did add plaques to them. This is a bridge that I'm working on. These leaves. Luckily, the leaves, I can gather wood while I was gathering all these leaves, so it did help out a little bit, because I was kind of killing two birds with one stone. But honestly, I think I'm about done with leaves, like as far as manually harvesting them. I'm tired of manually harvesting them, and I go through shears so quickly doing that, so I use up a lot of iron doing that. But I think what we'll probably do is in the next few episodes, we're going to have to get into blood magic before I can do it, but I would like to automate leaf collection fairly soon, because we're going to need a lot of leaves for this mountaintop, and I dread the idea of harvesting enough, because I haven't even scratched the surface of covering all this terrain, because I don't want this ugly dirt and grass and stuff showing on this mountaintop. I want it to be very overgrown looking. Aside from, the roads and things like that, I don't want those to be overgrown looking. But anyways, if we come through here, we have a couple statues here. First up, we have Sparky. And I put little plaques here just so the name. You can actually hover over the statue and you can see, up there it says Sparky. But I figured putting a little plaque here would be nice too, because if we're running through and passing, you can see the names. And then over here we have Furry Fang Plays MC. And I've got them set up there. They both actually have blood leech scepters, because I got a second one of those, so I was like, well, I'll give both of them blood leech scepters. And I put the inferno bow on this one because I'm not really using it. At the end of the day, the shark anchor is actually better with how fast it fires. It does have that drop, it doesn't shoot as far as the bow does, but I do like that shark anchor for a ranged weapon. And then I gave Furry Fang our bedrock sword that we got, because I don't really plan on using that. I love this Cinderfall sword. I'm hoping to maybe get that enchanted either this episode or next, possibly. And then if we come up here, this big monstrosity of a building, the bottom floor actually doesn't have anything. By the way, these are carpenter's pressure plates, and they're set to only allow players to activate them. So mobs and animals and stuff like that can't open these doors. Now these are plank designs from Divine RPG. These things were expensive. Like, you would think, like, oh, it's just wood, right? Yeah, but, oh, man, this is where I used a lot of wood, actually. I don't know why I'm looking at that. There we go, plank design. And you can see it takes 9 pieces of wood to make 4 plank design blocks. Okay, I mean, it's not terrible if we had wood automated or something like that, but, and I will say the sawmill definitely helps out, you know, as far as wood production goes. But that was a little bit on the expensive side, just a bit, because I did 3 floors of this. And this bottom floor right now doesn't have anything. This is going to kind of be like the hub where you can step in and access items and stuff kind of remotely, as well as probably have our AE2 storage down here, like our ME drives and stuff like that. We'll probably have those down here, because I was looking through, and once we start getting into applied energistics, like, it's not, none of this stuff's terribly expensive. The ME drives, their storehouses, they're a little bit involved to craft, but they're not terrible to craft. I mean, if you're crafting mass quantities of them, we are going to have to get into blood magic and stuff to get them, but for the most part, it's not too bad. So once we do start AE2, I think we'll just go straight for the ME drives, and then storage cells. These are kind of expensive. I mean, considering you have all this redstone alloy, like early on, it would be kind of expensive to go straight for, say, like a 4K, because as you can see, they're somewhat expensive. Because in this pack, you actually use 4 of the previous storage component instead of the standard 3. So that actually is a huge difference, a huge change that will quickly become apparent, because I'm not one, I tend to skip 1K, 4K. I tend to go straight for 16K or 64K, and that's going to be a little bit expensive, but that's, you know, that's the theme of the pack. So anyways, if we pop up here, this area took a lot of wood, because the thing is, these compacting drawers, they are standard recipe. Okay, and the nice thing is we did actually get, I'll show you in a second in the quest book, but these are standard recipe. So pistons, iron, but the thing is, pistons take chests in this pack. And so, I mean, the 2 pieces of iron, not a huge deal. I can go get iron like crazy fast. Redstone, also not an issue since we have Fortune 3, but that wood is terrible. It's terrible getting all that wood. Because, of course, chests in this pack require 4 logs and 4 planks. So the sawmill only helps so much with those. But anyways, we've got compacting drawers through here, and this is pretty much all the ore-based blocks. And I've left some spaces here, like over here, this is going to be more Thaumcraft shards, like the Nether shards, Ender shards, the rest of the 7 Deadly Sins shards, and then something else. I can't remember what else I had over here. But anyways, these are things, of course, that don't go through the compacting drawers. Then over here is all compacting. And then on the back side, I don't have anything yet, and for this shelf, I don't have anything as of yet either. And then upstairs, nothing really up here. I've got cutouts here because, of course, we're going to have another layer of shelves right here, and then there's probably going to be one more floor of storage drawers, so we have plenty of space to store everything that we want to store, you know, here. So our drawer controller should cover 3 floors, no problem whatsoever, because it's like a 25 by 25 by 25 range on the drawer controller. Also, something to note in the quest book here, I did complete a couple quests. I went ahead and turned them in because I needed the stuff that they gave. Well, I didn't actually need this one. The diamond storage upgrade, they gave us a drawer controller. I haven't actually put that in. I was waiting for you guys to put the drawer controller, you know, actually put that in. And then this one right here, we actually got 4 compacting drawers and 4 oak drawers. So I've already ran through those, spent those. So I also put in elevators here from open blocks just so we can quickly travel. I haven't dyed them yet, but I did put those in because they're standard recipe. 8 pieces of wool and an ender pearl will get you an elevator block. And if we come through here, this is all just stained light gray glass, ink sac, and bone meal. And then over here we have one more statue. This is Illuminatum 325. And I will say, I don't generally do this. I don't generally cheat stuff in. However, this Master Spark, I cheated that in because he was wanting a Master Spark or some kind of spark, and the Master Spark actually I think fit what he was going for with that. And if you take a look at the Master Corporeal Spark recipe, Corporeal Spark. Well, actually, I mean, this I could craft. If I was going for standard Spark, I could pull this off. It's expensive, but I could pull it off. However, pixie dust, ender air bottle, and then dragonstone, I mean, that's forever from now, right? So I was like, okay, since this is only decorative, I'm not going to use that item, I went ahead and cheated that in just so I could finish that statue out. So most of the time I try to use things that I've got, but in that case I did not. So just a heads up. I have not started Britannia, in fact. But anyways, that's his statue area. So, and then I started working on some bridging stuff. And if we pop over here, I mean, this basically is just, it's not going to be this cobblestone, but this is basically just for me to get an idea of, where I need to be heading with the bridges and how I need to lay these out. And I'm thinking about doing like a double-tiered bridge, because you can see I've got another one that runs out across this way, and have them kind of overlap. So I think that would be kind of cool. And this one, I'm not going to run all the way over there, super far, but it connects to a mountain over in this area, right over here. But anyways, that's what I've been working on so far. And I mean, that building still has a lot of work to do on it. Those are carpenter's fences, by the way, on the corners. They're carpenter's fences with laboratory blocks on them. So, and this is all, by the way, this is Darkstone bricks, and these are mini bricks from Divine RPG. I absolutely love some of the building blocks that are included with Divine RPG, so I am using a bit of those. Actually, the majority of this building is Divine RPG, the plank designs. Anyways, what we're going to be doing first up today is we are going to be working on our reactor. We're going to try to get that all squared away, and I think we're about to the point I could pull this apart. I'm going to hold off on that, though, just to make sure. Let me get a bit of this sand smelting up, because I'm going to want some reactor glass, I believe. And let me grab this. Another thing I would like to do today is get our tools changed over for RF power, because I don't really like our tools having to repair them. I hate repairing them. I'd rather have RF power, especially with this reactor. This reactor design, I mean, it's not crazy power, but it will generate over, I mean, if we run it at full power, it's going to generate over 10,000 RF per tick. So it's going to be more than enough power for our needs at the moment. And then, eventually we'll probably move into turbines and stuff like that. But for right now, this will be great. And we're going to do a bit of redstone control with it and everything today as well. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and start with, what am I at? Oh, I'm out of yellorium right now. And I also need more graphite. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to have like this wall over here just be solid. And then this wall is going to be, I think, partially glassed in and then partially solid. It's kind of what I'm thinking, because I want to be able to see it kind of running from the outside, but the back section there can be solid, because there's not really any vantage point for that. Actually, my spruce tree grew again. I've been having issues with the spruce. I want to make a scythe, but there's something I want to get for the scythe that is a little bit more involved that we're going to need for some stuff later on. So I was like, well, I'm going to wait and do it on camera with you guys, because I want to get magical wood before I make a scythe. Because Xavian suggested in on the channel Discord that I do a looting scythe, looting 3 scythe to get the saplings, because I've been dark oak and spruce, they're great for wood production, but I haven't been getting back the saplings that I put in, so I've been just steadily running out of saplings on those. But anyways, like I said, I want to get magical wood started before I mess with making a scythe, because I want to make an unbreakable scythe, and I'd rather just have one that I can go in and vein mine. Because honestly, my Maddock, I've found that right now, since I don't have RF power on it, I tend to actually use the Maddock in its broken state, because it can never fully break, and the Maddock with vein miner, I can break dirt, I can break gravel. It takes a little bit longer to break that initial block, but it still vein mines the whole chunk. And it's a whole lot cheaper on manual. And so, I mean, that's mainly for mining. I hate doing it with trees because I have all those different oak trees I have to break. So generally, before I go break all of my oak trees, I'll change it over. I'll repair it and then do that. Because I did make up a bit of manual and stuff since last episode. I think we'll have this come out like 2 and then have the rest of that glassed in, I think. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have the redstone control actually be right back here, I think. So I'm going to go ahead and remove these. And yeah, we'll do that. And let's take a look here, actually. The reactor redstone port, that's what I'm going to want. Now, it requires reactor casings, redstone alloy, I've got that stuff. Flux crystals, though. This requires diamond and destabilized redstone. It's actually super cheap. It's super, super cheap. Because let's see, redstone is... I want to say redstone's only 100 millibuckets per redstone. I think glowstone is 250, if I recall correctly. And I'm trying not to use the last of any block. I think dark steel... Yeah, I've got one dark steel in there. I've got one redstone alloy left in there. Because I haven't locked these in yet. I'm going to wait till we put down our drawer controller before I lock them in. It's just a whole lot easier to do that. So let me get some silicon. I've got some made up. Okay, so magma crucible. If we throw in like 2 pieces of redstone, that should be 200 millibuckets. Perfect. Okay, so let's do 2 more. Then we'll throw our diamonds in there. Very, very easy to make. Because the fluid transposer magma crucible, you know, that was one of the first things we made, right? As far as machines. And we've never really used it all that much. We've used it on occasion, but it's been very uncommon, but now we actually have a use for it. So getting redstone control on our... There's my glass. Getting redstone control on our reactor is going to be very, very nice. It's going to be very important for us. And another thing that I would like to get is... What does it take to make redstone conduit in this pack? Insulated redstone conduit, it's just redstone alloy and conduit binder. But conduit binder is still standard, but it's a little bit more expensive because it only makes 2 per craft. That makes 4. Okay, but still, I mean, it's not really a big concern. And I'm probably going to make a bunch of this. I'm going to go ahead and make like a stack of crafts. So 2 stacks of conduit binder, I think. It's 2 stacks of sand. I'm going to have to sag mill more sand because I'm almost out of sand. Gravel I've got. Clay I've got. And then we're also going to need redstone alloy. I'm going to go ahead and just make a bunch of that. 20 pieces, that sounds good. We'll do 20 pieces of redstone alloy. Because that's something, redstone alloy and dark steel, you use so much of that in this pack. Like, so much of it. So first up, let's go ahead and get our reactor redstone ports. And I'm going to go with 2 of these, like I said. So we'll get... I'm going to go ahead and just turn all those into reactor casings, because that's really the only thing that we need at the moment. Reactor redstone ports, 2 of those. And our redstone alloy. Then I'm going to need some conduit binder. Fun stuff. Alright, let's get... I've only got 37 sand in there. So I'm going to get a stack of cobblestone sag milling. And it's probably not going to be enough sand, but it'll be a start. And then I'll just lay that out. And then I can just craft the conduit binder as I get the resources to do that. So there's 36 binder composite. I'll go ahead and get this smelting up. Actually, this furnace is free now, so I'll throw it into there. I mean, technically you could make the standard conduit binder, like the non-insulated kind. I tend to just go with insulated. I know in 1.10, there's not even any redstone conduit. It's just all insulated redstone conduit. Or I think it's now just called redstone conduit, but it's all insulated now. But then we're going to put our redstone ports right here. And I'm going to go ahead and configure these. I know it's not running just yet. But this bottom one, we're going to say that you are going to... Basically with these, you can either input redstone into them or output redstone from them. And we are going to first, this bottom one, we're going to output based on energy amount. Yeah. So energy amount output, and we're going to say output a signal when power is above 90%. And commit, and there we go. So anytime that power stored within the reactor, you know how it has that internal buffer of like 10 million or whatever, anytime that number is above 90%, so in this case 9 million, if it is 10 million in fact, I can't remember, but whenever it's above 9 million, then it's going to output a redstone signal. Okay, that's all it is. And then right here we're going to have this redstone port, and we're going to say input change control rod insertion. When there's not a signal, we're going to say that control rod insertion is 0%. Okay, I think we're just going to do 0% and while on 100%. Okay, very, very simple. And that's just, I mean, with this, if it was a turbine, if it was producing steam or something like that, it would be a little bit different because, you know, I'd throttle the reactor down. If I didn't need that much steam, I would say, you know, this might be 65% or something like that. But with this reactor, I'm really just going for raw power. And I have tons of yellorium. And this thing basically is just going to throttle on, kick on whenever it needs a redstone, or whenever the power gets below 90%. And then it'll shut off basically whenever your control rod is at 100%. It's not using any fuel. It's not producing any power. Okay. So that's what we'll do. Just 100%, 0%. Now, you could do this more like, say, 55%, 60% or something like that, and really kind of fine-tune it so that you get the most bang for your buck as far as Yellorium goes. But I have stacks and stacks of Yellorium. It's not an issue. And probably in the not too distant, well, probably distant future, I don't know. I haven't looked to see, but I know some of the magical crops is a little bit earlier in the pack, and some of it's a bit later. Okay, this one actually requires Thaumcraft to get Yellorite seeds, but that's Imperio. So that's probably a little ways off, but even still, I've got tons of Yellorite. I get tons of Yellorite anytime I go mining, so I'm not too concerned about that. And then now I just need a bit more reactor parts, like reactor glass and things like that. This reactor glass, I'm just going to put it in right here. And then I need a couple more reactor casings. Then I need reactor glass on the front. Which I think I'm mainly just waiting for graphite on that. I think I'm good on dark steel. I don't know. I don't know for sure if I'm good on dark steel or not. Let's see, what's our power level at the moment in this? 100%. Okay. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to deactivate this reactor for right now. And I'm going to pull out the cyanide, and let's go ahead and eject the fuel out of it that's left, so that one piece of Yellorium. Okay, but our graphite's pretty well done, and if I need more dark steel, I can make it. So I'm just going to go ahead and break down this reactor. Okay, because I think it's time to move it. I mean, I know I wasted like 100,000 RF or something like that. It's not really a big deal. Actually, I wonder, can I vein? Yeah, I can vein on this. We'll just get 20 pieces of glass, finish out that side. And then this side here, it's not going to be enough glass by any stretch of the imagination, but that's okay. We've nearly got our big reactor done-ish. I've still got to do a little bit of something else, but... And we'll just put in the last of these fuel rods. There we go. I will say this thing's going to take a little bit more to start it up, like as far as fuel goes and stuff. And then I've got my power tap, reactor access port, controller, and then let me go ahead and get some more reactor casings. 20 of those. That's actually going to be enough to finish this out, in fact. I could have went with less than that, but that's okay. Actually, I need those, though, because we're going to make one other thing to finish out a quest tab. Almost finish out a quest tab. And then let's go ahead and get our redstone conduits. Insulated redstone conduit. There's 8 of those. And we're just going to put these onto this. And that's really all there is to it. That's the redstone. It's going to shut down whenever it's almost full of power. It's not going to waste any fuel for us. So, there we go. And then I'm also going to need to put in our access ports. So I'm just going to put these, I think, right... They can't be on the side, can they? Do they have to be on the top? I can't remember. No, they can be on the side. I generally put them in the top. Is generally what I do. But I have this little space here. This is going to kind of be like where all the mainframe stuff goes. So I'll probably do like a carpenter's door here that's kind of hidden. We can slip back here if we need to change anything on the settings. And there we go. But for our access ports, I think I'm just going to put these like right here. And we'll do the bottom one is going to be outlet mode to eject waste. The top one will be inlet mode. And later on, before too long, hopefully we'll get that automated into our system. So cyanide's pulled out, it's dumped into our drawer system, and Yellorium is pulled from our drawer system and fed into our reactor. Now we're also going to need a power tap. I'm also going to put that over here. And so we'll have that setting like right... we'll put it right here. We'll have all this stuff like right here together. So for right now, I'm just going to go with one reactor power tap. I think that's plenty because there is ways. I'm assuming that there's ways in this pack since it was a 1.7 thing. Yeah, right here. Cryo-stabilized flux ducts. That's infinite transfer. Also test racks and stuff like that are infinite transfer. I don't know if this is... Ooh. Okay. That's going to be a little ways away. Because we're going to have to start Thaumcraft. And I can't remember... But Thaumcraft is a bit in, if I recall, before you actually start Thaumcraft, I think. And that's everything except for our controller. So I think our controller, we're going to have it setting like right here, just eye level, and there we go. That's our reactor. So then I just need the glass. How many pieces did I need? There's 3 short. That's perfect. I have just enough glass for that. So there we go. Our reactor is done. You can see it formed. We have this big, massive reactor. Now, we're not actually done, though. That's the thing. I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to mark, let's say, here. We'll mark that. And I'm going to come in from the top. It'll make it a little bit easier because we're going to have to put some kind of cooling liquid in this. I don't want to run this thing without cooling liquid, just because it's a bit more efficient to do that. Alright, so let's go ahead and we're going to count the interior blocks. So I've got 21 interior blocks that aren't Yellorium fuel rods right now. So 21, I'm going to go for Resonant Ender, I think. So I'm going to need 21 buckets of Resonant Ender. I could possibly get away with a little bit less. I don't know. I mean, really, I could run it without the Resonant Ender. It's not that big of a deal, but I do want to go for the Resonant Ender, I think. But I can't remember. I think it takes 4 buckets or 4 ender pearls to make a bucket. I can't recall. If so, I'm going to be a ways off from having enough Resonant Ender to do that. But I mean, like I said, it's fine. I can stop it. Oh, that's right. Ender lilies make 4,000 millibuckets, though. I might actually cook some of my ender lilies because ender lilies are great and all, but I can always find more. With the amount of exploration that we're going to be doing in this pack, I think I would be willing to just burn those down. Like whatever else we needed. It would probably only be like a couple ender lilies, I think. But let's go ahead and throw in our ender pearls into the magma crucible and get that running. And it is 4 ender pearls per resonant, or yeah, per bucket of resonant ender. So, alright, so we'll go ahead and grab a bucket of this and we'll start putting this stuff in. I am going to need to cook down some ender lilies. But I'm fine with that. I don't mind. Ender lilies, at the end of the day, they're such, unless you have like a ton of them and you have it automated and all that stuff, they're really kind of a minute point, I feel like. To hover for a minute. I don't want to touch this stuff because it'll teleport me. Technically, I think that counts as a block, like a full block space. So I may cut down the amount that I have in there for right now. And then down the road, once Resonant Ender's not as big of an issue, I may do a bit more. Now, technically, jellied cryotheum is better. Generally, but the thing is, like, I don't know. I know I've mentioned this in other series and stuff like that. I'm not a min-maxer when it comes to reactors. Like, I'm just not. I mean, whoops. The thing is, like, jellied cryotheum and liquid resonant ender, I was about to call it molten enderium, but the difference between the power production, if I was to do jellied cryotheum or resonant ender, it would literally be like 100 RF difference or something. It's so minute when you're producing like thousands of RF. Like, I don't worry all that much about it. Like, it produces thousands of RF. Okay, there we go. I'm good. You know, I'm not that worried about it, honestly. So I think we're going to need like 3 more buckets of liquid ender. So I'm just going to smelt up one of our ender lily seeds. It's not really a big deal. I mean, I've only harvested these things, I think, like 1 time. I don't know why I've been running these over there this whole time, because I've got a portable tank here. Sometimes I have no clue why I do the things I do. I just do them. Anyways, that's 3 buckets. That's all I need. Go. And I mean, technically this is flowing kind of like downwards. I'll end up, once I have the ender to afford it, I'll fill that in. But for right now, this works. I'll cut corners a little bit. It's still going to be good power production. And at the end of the day, I mean, adding the ender, it's not something that I have to have right this second. So this one's actually going to be tricky-ish. No, it isn't. Put it right there. There we go. This one goes there. And then one goes right there. And there we go. So we got ourselves a big reactor with lots of liquid ender in there. Okay. This is like a cheap man's reactor. And I guess that's it. I think we're ready to go. Ready to start this thing up. So, and I don't really have to have all the power storage and stuff in there because, I mean, like I said, it's going to shut off once its power buffer fills up anyways. So, let me get... Oh, I actually had Yellorium on me. Whoops. So, we'll go ahead and put this into our insertion spot, and it looks like it ate through all of that. Yeah, it's only 80% full right now, so I'm going to go ahead and feed it this other 51. There we go. Now it's got fuel. It actually takes a lot of fuel to fill it initially, but That's okay. And then we'll go ahead and activate Reactor, and you can see, pow, it's ripping through this. And we're about to hit 10,000 RF per tick. There we go. So 10,000 RF per tick, it's using 1 millibucket per tick. That's actually more than it did in the Reactor planner. It might be changed in this pack, which is fine. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, this thing's going to fill up 10 million RF, like, no problem at all. And you'll see here in just a second, it's going to hit 90% full, and it's going to power it down. So right there. And all the numbers go down. And you can see that at 90%, if we shut it off at 90%, it has just enough fuel to kind of hit 100%. And that's with no power drain. So, and right now we're not producing. I guess I could pump this down just a little bit just in case we're not pulling any power from it. So we'll say active while above, we'll say 88% commit. And then it should carry it up to 100%, or right about 100%, you know. So anyways, there we go. And our reactor, like right now, you'll see it's not using any millibuckets per tick. It's not using any power. There is a very short warm-up period, but it's very minor, and it doesn't consume full yellorium when it's warming up. And, I mean, it's fine. I'm not that worried about it. I think this is good. So, anyways, now we have power is set. We're good on power. We can actually start doing bigger things, running more things, running better capacitors, running, you know, maybe upgraded machines, things like that with no real issue at all. So now we can actually start working on Cobbleworks and start moving forward with that. And by the way, forget what I said about the ender chest. I got my packs mixed up, because that's the worst thing is when you're doing multiple packs and you have multiple ones with different hard recipes. This ender chest is actually a little bit more expensive. It requires a tesseract. Now, technically, I could pull off a tesseract if I had more ender pearls. I mean, that's reasonable. It's actually not that bad to make. But I don't have ender pearls to do that right now. So, ender chest, that's a little ways off. And I haven't even looked, actually, at the ender pouch. That's not that bad. Once again, it requires a tesseract, so that's a thing. But it's not terrible, anyways. But anyways, moving on, I think the next thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna work on our Cobbleworks a little bit. Now, I was debating how I wanted to do the actual Cobblestone production because, you know, Cobblestone framework, it's very, very powerful, and we will be using Cobblestone framework most likely for sand, gravel, concrete, all the stuff that comes from that. But for the actual Cobblestone itself, now this is just for the Cobblestone side of things. It's not for, because well, I'll tell you what, actually, I'm actually not all that concerned right this second with getting Cobblestone in, because I've got Cobblestone. Cobblestone's easy to get. We will want to automate that before too long for things like seared bricks. That's something that we're definitely going to want to automate. But I think for right now, I think we should focus on getting like sand, gravel, glass, concrete. I use up so much concrete and I hate making it. Things like that, getting those automated and in place should be, I think, our top priority today. So for that, we are going to need to make, or we are going to make, Cobblestone frameworks. These things, they're great, but I also hate these things with a passion. Now, they're honestly the best thing in the world for making a Cobbleworks. But the reason I hate them so much is because they're not affected by mufflers, and they make the most horrible sound. If you're familiar with my Project Ozone series, you know these things are so obnoxiously loud and annoying. And there's no way, other than just turning off your sound volume, there's no way to reduce the noise of them, which I cannot stand at all. But anyways, I think that's what we're going to go for. Now, this requires 4 empty machine frameworks. I'm going to want a few of these. These are dark steel and electrical steel. Now, these do create 2 empty machine frameworks, though. So it's not too bad. But we are going to need a bit of silicone. So let me get some more gravel. No, yeah, I am going to need to smelt up or break down cobblestone. And then what I'll probably do, I'm assuming that I can get silicone. If I run this through a pulverizer, yes, I get silicone. And it looks like, it almost looks like the pulverizer is a 100% chance. I almost feel like. Because it just shows it as giving silicone, it doesn't show a percentage. Whereas with the sag mill, it's a 50% chance. So, that's actually kind of nice. Let me Just this. We're going to throw that in there. But the nice thing is we'll be able to get silicon, we'll be able to get glass, all that stuff super easily. Now I think I've actually got some electrical steel up here. Maybe. Possibly. And these require power. We're going to have to get into some conduits to move the power and everything here shortly. And by the way, while we're up here, one thing I would like to do, I've got some oak trim that came from a quest. Right here, I've got 4 pieces of it. And I've got this drawer controller that we received as a quest reward. And so I'd like to go ahead and put this in, just so it makes it a little bit easier to put my stuff up. And the drawer controller, what we're going to do is we're going to have it setting in the middle of this room. So, let me see, it's 11 wide, so we're going to put it like right here. So I'll do trim just like that. That's a frame drawer. For right now, I'm just going to connect trim into this. Now, this is eventually going to be a drawer right here, but that'll be fine. And then we're going to have, and this will eventually be a drawer as well. So there's really only going to be like one piece of trim here, but for right now, that'll be fine. And then we'll do our drawer controller then right here. And by the way, if you were wondering what these drawers are, these are andesite pillars and then holy stone on the front, which is just feathers and stone. But we're also going to need to run some trim over from this to connect into this compacting section. So what we're going to do is we're just going to use our framing table for that. And, oh yeah, I'm going to need to make some frame trim. There's not frame trim. Really? Okay, let me look. Oh, that's, oh man. Okay, there's no frame trim. There's only frame drawers, which I can use the drawers. That's not a problem. That's fine. That's fine. Okay, I tell you what, I'm going to go ahead and get my drawer key. And for that, I'm going to need to make some upgrade templates. And I'm going to need to make some drawers for that. Alright, let me get these chests out. Upgrade templates, and then we'll get our drawer key. There we go. And that way we can lock in our drawers. And then for our frame drawer, go ahead and get... How many of these am I going to need? Basically just across here, so like 2. I'll get that. I'm just going to leave that there, I think. Because I'm going to end up... I'll tell you what. I'm just going to go ahead and craft those. Because I'm going to end up needing them, so it's not really a big deal if I make extras. And then we've got our plank designs. These better work. I hope they work. They should work, but... Yeah, they work. We'll just do that. So we just have a drawer that looks like a plank. And then I'll just put this in... actually remove this stuff. And we'll just put those in like that, and then we'll go ahead and lock them so they don't get any items in there. So, and that's that. So now this connects over to here, and then all we have to do is just put down some oak trim right there. And then that's all connected. And then what we can do is we can just take our drawer key and just shift right click. Is it shift right click or... Okay, right click the drawer controller, and then it locks all the drawers. So now everything is locked, and I'm not going to have rogue stuff going places or whatever. But, yeah. So there we go. There we go. I'm going to hang the key up there with Draconic Evolution. And, yeah. So that is sorted. We have our drawer controller in. And I came up here for electrical steel is what I came up here originally for. So, oh, and I'm going to need to make more dark steel, actually. Use dark steel so much in this pack. So much. I've got obsidian, so that's not really a problem, but I am going to need to pulverize some more coal. And iron I already have down there, so don't have to worry about that. Electrical steel, I only have 2 pieces up here, so I'm not even going to bother with that. Oh, I actually don't have hardly any iron up here. That's why I was smelting all that iron up. And then our silicon is done, and I believe we should be able to make this in the induction smelter. We'll do, get this iron out. And I guess I'm going to go for, so I'll just do that, 23, 23, and does that not work? Haha. Is electrical steel also coal? I can't remember. Yeah, it's steel or coal. Oh, man. I'll tell you what, after this one runs, I'll just throw that in there, and I'll just switch out the obsidian, and I'm going to throw the silicon in there. Because 8 pieces of dark steel, that's going to make us, at least the frameworks, that's going to make us enough of those for what we need. So, and that'll start making electrical steel. And I wish I had, actually, you know what? I think I've got vibrant alloy. Didn't I get a couple pieces of vibrant alloy? Yes, I did. Okay, so I'm going to grab like 2 pieces of that, and I've only got 1 piece of that, so I guess I'll go with, I'll make some more of that. So let me get, I've got redstone, and then I just need glowstone. 4 pieces of that, and then what's the, for the capacitors, because I was thinking about upgrading the capacitor to make it run a little bit faster. It's glowstone block in the middle, and then this one is coal powder. Okay. Now we've actually got enough electrical steel in here, like we're pretty well set on that for what we need it for right this second anyways. So I'm going to make just a few pieces of energetic alloy. And then, oh yeah, we're going to need capacitors, which I think I've got everything here that we need. So redstone, copper, we're going to need, what, four basic capacitors? And I guess, technically, while I'm at it, I'm going to go ahead and make a few more of these because we're going to need them this episode, so might as well. And then I guess we're all set, so we'll go ahead and make our double layer capacitors. There's 2 of those. And then we'll make our octadic capacitor. There's 1 of those. Okay, and I'm going to switch this for octadic, and then we'll put the double layer in this one. Okay, but anyways, we've got our electrical steel that we need, and we've got our dark steel that we need. So I'm going to get cobblestone framework. There's 4 of those. And then we're also going to need 4 machine framework tanks. Now this is just silicon, quite clear glass. It makes 2 of them for each craft. So there we go. There's the silicon that we need. I should be able to craft it. There we go. 4 of those. Okay, so 4 of those, and then we need the cobblestone framework controller. Now this is the actual expensive part of the block. It requires a bucket of lava, bucket of water. Oh yeah, we're gonna need Z-Logic controllers. That means we're gonna have to get slice and splice. Alright, let me... Oh, by the way, we got 2 quests with unclaimed rewards here under automation. First up is electrical steel. We get a wood to iron chest upgrade. That's actually not bad. And a capacitor. We get a sleeping bag. Wow, okay. I will take that. Sleeping bag is actually something that I wanted to make anyways, like at some point. And of course that just allows us to sleep anywhere. And it doesn't change our spawn, you know, our respawn spot, so. Okay. And this upgrade, I'm just going to go ahead and throw it on this. So, because this one could benefit from having a little bit more storage in it. This has stopped running, actually, which is fine. Okay, for the slice and splice, we are going to need 1 of any head, dark axe, machine chassis. That's why I made those capacitors. I know we're going to need a few of them today. And then we're also going to need solarium, which I want to say that I have some solarium up here. Okay, I've got most everything prepped that we're going to be needing. Let me switch this out. I'm going to need another gear because we're going to want another machine chassis. I did go ahead and make up some machine chassis and different things using some of our tin gears that we had. And I had some more glass. Or I've got to get more glass smelting. That's right. Okay, let me get some more cobblestone. Well, I'll tell you what, I'll wait on that. That's not a big rush. By the way, I've just been filling this basic capacitor back up over at the reactor for right now. But we have 64 energetic alloy in here. I went ahead and just made up a full stack because it's one of those things we're going to need it, you know. And I will probably be using quite a bit of these conduits for a little while. Especially for one thing I'd like to do, maybe today. So I'm going to go ahead and get, there's 80 of them. So that'll be good for a starting point. And then as far as our slice and splice goes, I think I've got most everything that we need. Oh yeah, the solarium is right here. Alright, so slice and splice. I got a zombie head here. We're also going to need a dark axe. With these tools, I believe dark axe, does it have good... Yeah, it's got good durability. Because if I was to go with, say, iron axe, that's only got a durability in this pack of 1. So, we are going to go with the dark axe. And I'll go ahead and go with dark shears as well, just because. So, there's 2 of those. And then, actually put 1 of these away. Got all this stuff on me because this is all stuff that we're using right now. But dark shears. And then our slice and splice. I can't shift click it in there. So I'll just have to manually place it. That's fine. There we go. Slice and splice. Oot. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and put in our axe, and then I'm going to put in... oh, that's seared bricks. Whoops. Our shears. There we go, and we'll just grab that. And out of curiosity, yes, we completed something with automation. First up, Solarium. They're going to give us iron pet armor. And Slice and Splice is 3 golden carrots. Alright. And we'll just pop upstairs. We'll be setting up our actual machines in a logical fashion here in just a minute, I promise. But the enhanced energy conduits, we're going to go ahead and just run these out of this. And then what we'll do is we'll have them come out, like right back here. And let me go ahead and do that. And then we'll just run them over to this wall here, I think. That should be good. And what I'll do is I'll set up our machines like right back here for right now. Power conduit will come through there. Okay. Because a lot of our Cobbleworks stuff's going to be back here. And then what I'll probably do is have this section... I may have this section over here be for the actual... like manual machines, and this back here all be Cobbleworks, I think is what I'll do. So I'll tell you what, instead... well, not really instead. I'm just going to run these conduits around. And I'll have to get a conduit. I'll have to paint these, but that's fine. Make some facades up. And we'll just run that back like that. So there we go. Okay. And then what I can do is I can put my Slice and Splice down just right here. There we go. It's getting power. And then we can lay out our stuff. Zombie head. What all is it? I think it's probably going to need silicon, right? Z-Logic controller. Yeah, 2 pieces of silicon. And then solarium. We're going to need, oh yeah, redstone too. Oh, by the way, there's mobs spawning now. I forgot that I was in my test world earlier and had set it to peaceful so there wasn't anything spawning. And I always forget about it in 1.7. That's one thing I like about 1.10 because I always lock in the difficulty in 1.10. But in 1.7, you can't lock in the difficulty. And if you go into creative world and then you come back to your main world, it's still in whatever difficulty you set it at. So, but anyways, we'll get this thing running. There's the redstone. There's the silicon. And there we go. It's going to start making our Z-Logic controller. Now, in addition, we are going to need pulsating crystals. That's just pulsating iron. I believe I have some pulsating iron already. I mean, if worse comes to worse and I need ender pearls, Runic Dungeon, we've got spawners there. It's not really a problem to pop up there. I have 1 piece of pulsating iron. That's not going to be enough, so... alright, I guess it is off to the Runic Dungeon then. Arachnophobia.
Arachnophobia! 8-legged terrors!
Okay. I don't think it's going to affect us here, so that's fine. Oh, wait, I see a spider. Oh, I see a few spiders. I'll tell you what, let me grab this. Oh, man. These guys, these tarantulas. Ah! There we go. And then there's also Frostweaver spiders. Oh, whoa, what? What in the world? Aha, these dungeon bricks break. There's actually blazes down there. Okay. I know it was mentioned in the comments to watch out for that, because that can happen. And apparently it does. Okay, so we're up to 5 ender pearls. So, that'll be good. I'm happy with that. That's enough to get what we need to get done. So, and I'll probably end up grinding some of those, because I've actually got that Fortune 3. Like, right now I'm using the Cinderfall sword. I do have a Sword of Fortune 3, so it wouldn't be any issue at all to grind up a lot of ender pearls using that. And I'm just going to go ahead and turn all of these over into pulsating iron. Alright, so there we go. We got our 5 pieces of pulsating iron, and then we just need a couple diamonds. And then we'll get our pulsating nuggets, put those around diamond, and get our 2 pulsating crystals that we needed. And then our cobblestone framework, let's see. We've got that. We've got that. Machine chassis, iron ingot, electrical steel. We've got all that stuff. Okay, so we are set. I just need to get a bucket of water and a bucket of lava. Right now I'm just kind of like completing quests as I complete them. I'm not really like looking in the quest book. I'm just kind of winging it at the moment. Okay, so Z logic. And then it's electrical steel, iron. Let me get our buckets. Bucket of water and bucket of lava. And then a machine chassis. And then what goes at the bottom? Oh, the pulsating crystals. And there we go. Cobblestone framework controller. And then cobblestone framework. A little bit expensive, a little bit involved, but not actually that bad. Especially now that we have the slice and splice. It's really not bad. Okay, so there's that. And then I'm also going to want a sag mill. So let's take a look here. We're going to need a little bit of Invar, 4 pieces, some flint, a machine chassis, which I've got, and then we're also going to need a piston. I'll tell you what, I made those 2 frame drawers earlier. I'm going to use the same, like, design that I was using, I think. Like what I'm using in here. I might change it. I don't know for sure. I don't know for sure, like, what kind of drawers I want in the Cobbleworks. Anyways, like I said, I might change it. I might leave it. We'll see. We'll give it some time and see. So, this cobblestone framework, I'm going to put it back in here. And we'll have it just setting, like, right... I think we'll have it setting just, like, right here. Okay? So, you'll notice that it just produced a bunch of cobblestone, like, super quickly. These things are very, very fast in the way that they run. Now, another thing that I wouldn't mind getting is item conduits. So, because I think what we're going to do is we're going to stack our cobblestone frameworks together. I'm thinking we'll have 3, 4, maybe 4 of them. I'm not for sure. But I'll go ahead and grab some conduit binder. And the rest of this pulsating iron, well, I'm just going to do like a set of it for right now. Let's go ahead and get ourselves some item conduits. That's 24 item conduits. That should be good for a bit. And then what we can do is, in our cobblestone framework, if we were to put a sag mill in here, like basically you can put sag mills, alloy smelters, crafters in this, and you can do up to 3 different processes within this, which we'll get into a little bit more advanced ones in a moment. But we're going to put a sag mill in this, so we're going to sag mill the cobblestone, and you can see right now it's producing gravel. And then once it finishes producing gravel, it only does like 1 product at a time. But once it finishes gravel, then pow, it starts making sand. So basically anything that cobblestone can sag mill into, sand and gravel, it can produce it. So, and then what we'll do is we'll set up our drawers, and we're going to put these like, I'll tell you what, long term I was wanting to put these right out here, and have like all the Cobbleworks products like right here. So I'm just going to go ahead and set it up with that intention, and then we can make adjustments to it later once we move these machines, because these machines will be here temporarily, you know. So we'll just put the drawers like right here, I think. And then I'm going to want a drawer controller. And to actually craft one of these, I don't think it's actually that expensive. Comparators, drawer, stone, diamond. Okay. That's not bad at all. So let me pop up here. Let me get that crafted real quick. And I probably will need more item conduits in this case. That's fine. What we're going to do is we're going to have our item conduits just plug into the back of this. So we'll set it like right there. And then we'll just say, you know, extract is always active. Green is fine. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to have everything pump into the drawer controller. Because there's going to be basically the stuff that's, you know, produced in the Cobbleworks. It's going to be stored down here in the Cobbleworks. That way it can kind of control itself, like how much it gets and everything. It just makes for an easier infrastructure, honestly. And then we'll just take it under the floor here. Let me remove that. And let's see, this would be the center point. So I'm going to put the drawer controller just right here. And we'll have the item conduits come over, plug straight into that drawer controller. I'm 1 conduit short right now. And I'll tell you what, actually, let me just move these over. We'll set them right there. And then let me get just a piece of, a little bit of that gravel, a little bit of that sand. Now, it is going to fill up the gravel first, which, I mean, that's fine. Basically, what I'm going to do is, eventually I'll add, like, storage upgrades to this. But at first, I'm going to let it fill the gravel, and then let it fill the sand, and then add storage upgrades. Because then I'll have like 2048 of each of these, so we'll be set for a bit. Go ahead and get some more item conduits. And we'll just plug that up, and now... Actually, we're getting sand first. But it's probably going to run through all that sand and then start getting gravel, chances are. It's actually fighting to keep up with the sand. It's still going to eventually run out of that, though. And this is without any capacitor. It's producing this fast. But yeah, if we take a look now, sand has stopped, but we've got 253 sand. That'll be fine for a little bit. And I mean, really, I've got all that gravel that's down there in that drawer. So what does it take to make packing tape? Paper and slime. Okay, I can pull that off. So there we go. There's packing tape. Because I've got a lot of gravel. Because I tend to vein mine it, like, anytime I see it. You know, when I was making all that concrete and stuff, it was something that I went through, like, so much. And building those bridges, like, when I started getting over to those bridges, I was like, okay, I'm totally not going to work on these bridges until I get a Cobbleworks started, because it's just, it's going to take so much concrete. It's going to take a lot of cobblestone too, but cobblestone, like I said, it's not an issue. Now, for automation purposes, I do want cobblestone automated, but we'll do that, like, you know, maybe next episode or something like that. Because one thing I do want to do in this pack is I would like to go ahead and have stuff set up for octuple automation. You know, I want to go ahead and start thinking about the future in this pack instead of, like, waiting until I need octuple and then being like, oh, well, I need octuple now, so let me make a bum rush for octuple compressed cobblestone, because that just doesn't sound like any fun. Okay, so the gravel drawer is filled right now. I've still got 741 in this. Once I add storage upgrades to this, I'll toss the rest of those in there. So now it's going to start producing sand and working on capping out the sand for us. And I've got everything I need for another machine chassis. Actually, you know what? I really need three machine chassis. I'm going to need some more. I've got 2 10 gears on me right now, but I am going to need one more. But give me just a bit. I'm going to move our machines that are down in that other building. I'm going to move them up to the Cobbleworks. Now, I will say that I'm going to end up running power, some power lines over to that other building, because we're going to have our ore processing in there. But for right now, I'll just move it up here, because I don't have the stuff that I need to automate that whole process and sorting and AE2 and all that stuff. So it'll be a little while before I actually need it up there or down there. So I'm going to move all of our machines up here for the time being. And I'm going to go ahead and make one more cobblestone framework real quick and a sag mill and an alloy smelter. And I think that'll be good for right now, I believe. So anyways, I'll be back in just a bit once I get that stuff, because I'm not going to craft that again on camera. So, okay, I actually did one small change. I changed these over to compacting drawers. I was up here, I was moving machines over, and then all of a sudden I was like, wait, why am I doing standard drawers when I can do compacting drawers? So I did change those over, and I crafted one additional compacting drawer, and the reason being, I think I've got enough sand and gravel for right now. What we're going to do is we're going to set up one of these compacting drawers, and we'll put it just right... we'll put it right here, actually. This one, it may automatically start getting it. There we go. We are going to do cobblestone in this one. So, I mean, technically, these Cobbleworks, they can make stone. They can make cobblestone, or they can make these other products. This should back up in just a second. There we go. And so that's going to start filling up with cobblestone. Now, I do have... down here, I've got all this cobblestone inside this drawer. So let me go ahead and just snag this drawer real quick. And technically, that actually fixes... build a simple automatic cobblestone generator. You can use transfer node or cobblestone framework. We've done that. And use crafters or compacting drawers to compress it. We've done that. Okay. Now, I will say that we're going to do another cobblestone setup. Possibly next episode, or it might be the episode after. Because there is a couple other things that that are on my top priority list. But we are going to do another cobblestone setup, and that's going to be just for producing octuple compressed, because it's something, you know, like I said, I want to start getting that and working on that. I'm just going to set this right here, and I'm just going to say you can extract and you can insert. And eventually that's going to empty out. I mean, technically I could grab a bunch of this. Yeah, I guess I might as well just go ahead and empty this myself. Yeah, so there's 65 stacks in that. Well, 65, not 65 stacks, but 66 double compressed cobblestone right now. But anyways, we've got the stuff that we need for our cobblestone framework, so we're going to go ahead and grab that. And then what we'll do is we're going to set this one up just right. Probably just going to put it above this one. So we'll just run that up. We'll put an item conduit right here. Cobblestone framework goes right in there. Let me pop around here real quick. And we'll say that you can extract always active. And so what we're going to do is this one is going to be producing cobblestone, right? Now, of course, I could put in an alloy smelter and start making smooth stone. But what we're going to do is we're going to put in a sag mill right here. So it's going to start producing gravel. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put in an alloy smelter, and it's going to start producing concrete for us. And then once it does the sand, it'll produce glass. Now, right now, things are going to be kind of slow because it's going to be filling up our cobblestone buffer. That's fine. I mean, both of these are going to be producing cobblestone, and technically both of these can produce the double compressed sand and the gravel. And I mean, really, I could run everything through this one cobblestone framework and not even have this one. But honestly, I like to have them a little bit more specialized. So normally I don't even run cobblestone through this, but I think this should be fine with the speed. But I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I think, because, you know, like I said, I'm going to have a separate cobblestone set up. Oh yeah, this will make quite clear glass as well. So it's making concrete, glass, and quite clear glass. Okay, I went and got another frame drawer. So let's go ahead and get like a half stack of that, a half stack of that, half stack of that. And then what we'll do is we're going to put this stuff in, and I think I'm just going to set it like right up here. Speaking of, is there like a compressed stone in this pack? I know some packs have like a compressed stone, like smooth stone. Okay, no, I don't see anything. So stone is probably going to go in just a standard drawer as well. So what I think we're going to do is we're going to put, I guess we'll put these over here. We'll say like glass goes in this one, quite clear glass in this one, and then in this one we're going to have concrete. Okay, and then in this one we'll probably put smooth stone, and then we're still going to need one that's producing silicon. We'll probably need, let's see, we'll have one producing smooth stone, and we'll also have, I'll probably have the one that's making smooth stone also make circuit plates, because I mean circuit plates aren't something that we're going to run through all that crazy fast, I don't think. And bear in mind, these can actually get faster, just like any Ender IO machine with capacitors. We can upgrade the speed to where it's just insanely fast. Yeah, we'll have one more doing smooth stone, and then we're going to have another one that's doing sag mill. So it's going to sag mill to get sand and gravel, and then it's going to sag mill sand and gravel to get flint and silicon. Okay, so we'll have two other cobblestone frameworks, and then that's probably going to be it for our cobblestone frameworks in this series. Now you can also do crafters, but the thing is, crafters, if you put them into there, in my experience, is honestly just slow when you can run things through compacting drawers or something like that instead, because crafters will basically take it and compress it, but there's not a whole lot of point in it. It's just a waste of power, honestly, is all it does. So but anyways, with that, I believe we are going to end out the episode here. Next episode, we'll spend a bit more time working on Cobbleworks. Between episodes, I'm probably going to craft up the other cobblestone frameworks that we need. And then for those, we're going to need 2 sag mills and 2 alloy smelters for those last 2. So, not too bad. We're getting at the point now where, honestly, that second cobblestone framework, since I had the slice and splice, it didn't take that long to craft. It's just electrical steel, dark steel, some glass, silicon. That stuff is getting easier and easier to make now that we have this, you know, coming in and everything. So next episode, as far as the Cobbleworks goes, we will get those other 2 cobblestone frameworks set up. We're probably going to go ahead and set up our slag automation stuff. Right now it'll be kind of more semi-automated than fully automated, but that's okay. Well, at least for the rich slag. The standard slag, we can just fully automate it right now. We might include that next episode, and we might include the seared bricks as well. But then we'll probably move on over and either start... Actually, no, I know what we're going to do. We're going to do wood automation. That was the other thing that I want to do. And then we'll probably... That stuff's not going to take all that long, so then we'll probably switch over and maybe start working towards maybe getting into AE2. I would like to start getting into AE2 soon. So, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode, and if you did, as always, be sure and hit that like button, and go ahead and subscribe if you're not already, to stay up to date with when new videos come out. Also, one thing I did forget to do is in the bestiary, under Arctic Creatures, we have that Frostweaver spider. It says, foul-spitting ice spiders take heed as their spit will produce a temporary sticky frost web. And then in addition, we have the tarantula. Poisonous jumping spiders that leave behind a trail of temporary sticky grain webbing. So, I forgot that I didn't go over those after we scanned them. But anyways, I hope to see you guys next time. Until then, as always, do take care, stay safe, and I will see you guys next time.